I am super excited to be sharing this video with you today. Halloween is just around the corner and I am in the Halloween spirit. I have been busy coming up with these fantastic, easy, fun, and affordable ideas to help you decorate your home for Halloween. The best part is that we are mainly using recycled items or items that you would usually have around your house anyways. So you will be able to decorate your home for just a few dollars. Just because we're frugal doesn't mean we have to sacrifice home decor. It just means becoming resourceful and making our own. So let's get to it, shall we? The first project here that I did was kind of like a bat wall. It's just bat cutouts that I had put on the wall. And to do that, I just make a bunch of bat cutouts. You can really just draw the shape of a bat and then trace and cut it repeatedly. If you aren't very good at drawing, then you could always print a bat cutout from the internet and use that. Or if you don't have a printer, just pull up a bat cutout on your computer. Stick a piece of paper to the screen and trace the cutout. The computer is really like a projector. If you put a white piece of paper against it, you can see what's underneath and just trace. I had these bats already from a kit that I had bought on clearance, so that's what I used to trace multiple and cut them out. I did have to buy the black paper because I did not have any, but other than that, this is a fairly easy and rather cheap project. For the next project, you will want to cut out a ghost from a piece of paper torn from a book. You could use any book really. This is just a book that the kids no longer wanted. You really just cut a piece until you like it and then trace and cut more. And I do show you two different ways to trace. I prefer folding in half and doing it that way. Once you get them cut out, then you can draw eyes on both sides. I place a little piece of tape on the top before hole punching so that it wouldn't tear as easily. If you plan on keeping them for long term and using them several years, you may consider laminating them so that they last longer. I string them up with twine, but you really could use anything to string them up. Some other good options that you might have on hand would be fishing wire or yarn. All I had to purchase for this project was the twine, but I plan on using that for other projects as well. This next project didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. We all have flubs, right? They don't turn out the way we're supposed to, and we end up wasting our time, resources, and energy. It happens. I included this one so that you would see that sometimes being frugal still means you mess up. This was a little mess up, but I still wasted a dollar tablecloth and a piece of paper. I also share this that perhaps it will inspire you and you will find a way to actually make this one work. I loved the idea of this project and I was so disappointed when it didn't work out. I so wanted a project that I could use a tin can in, but if you want to give this a try, I will go ahead and share how I did this with you. They're really just a tin can that I wrapped a piece of paper around and then put a piece of that plastic tablecloth on. And then I just used twine to hang them up. Feel free to give it a try and see if you can make it turn out better than I did. And if you do end up liking how it turns out, let me know. The next project are the most frustrating to make, which is ironic because they are made to relieve frustration. They are stress balls. I had a friend's kid show me one of these last year. I was quite intrigued, and she explained to me that they are just balloons filled with flour, so I thought I'd give it a try. She did warn me that the flour was difficult to get into the balloons, but me being me, I thought, how hard can it be? By the end of making them, I thought I knew the trick. I had better luck by pushing the flour down into the balloon, which is what I am doing. I know it looks quite unusual, and my husband got quite the kick out of my technique, but it worked. If you do try this, avoid squeezing the balloon with the flour in it. I did that several times out of instinct, and the flour came puffing out. Overall, I think these are a really cute project and they are quite satisfying to squeeze and reshape. They may be a bit more advanced in terms of difficulty level, so maybe not for the younger kids to try, but older children may be able to get the hang of it without getting too frustrated. And you can draw any kind of face on these. I thought they may be a good one to put out for trick-or-treaters instead of candy. The next project I am making are mommy jars. These may be my favorite because they turn out just so cute. All they require to make is a recycled jar. I used a spaghetti sauce jar, a gauze roll, and some googly eyes. I used hot glue to adhere the gauze as I wrap it around. One gauze roll will do at least 2 mommy jars. And then I did just hot glue those eyes on as well. I put a fake tea light inside of them when they were all done. Those I got in a pack of 3 at Dollar Tree, so that just cost me $1.25, and I believe the gauze roll was just over $1 at Walmart. These turn out so cute and just make me smile whenever I look at them. The next project is a bit more time consuming, but one the kids would love to help with. To make them, you will need clothespins, a coffee filter, googly eyes, several markers, and a very small amount of white and black paper. The first step is to color your coffee filter. I am using Crayola markers that I got for about $1 during back to school. Once it is colored, spritz it with some rubbing alcohol and hang it to dry. Now, I do paint these clothespins, but I discovered after filming this that a permanent black marker works just as well, if not better. I'm not a big fan of paint. The kids love it, but I would rather find another way. Not only is it messy, but sometimes the colors aren't what you would have expected them to be. Once the coffee filter is dry, you are going to cut it in half. One coffee filter will make 2 bats. Then I fold and cut to make the scalloped edges. And funny story, when I went to cut the wings to fit into the clothespin, I forgot which end to cut. I ended up cutting the wrong end and having to tape it back together, so be sure to cut the correct end. Here you see me measure and cut the small black pieces of paper. They will be the ears of the bat. I glue them on along with the googly eyes, and you will need the tiniest, smallest googly eyes to fit both of them on your bat, and you may choose to not put a mouth on your bat. This is the trickiest part because you need the tiniest sliver of paper, and you may have an easier time if you have smaller fingers. And the next project that I'm going to be showing you is a pumpkin. This one is quite time consuming. This pumpkin that we're making will be made from recycled coffee or coffee creamer jugs or anything really that size. I had a bunch of these as we are serious coffee drinkers. So I was quite excited to try this project out and use some of those up. You will also need some cereal boxes and either paper and glue or orange paint. You will first need to get your cereal boxes ready. I like to trim off the tops and bottoms before opening them up. I used some orange paper and glued that to the cardboard, but you could just paint them as well. I did not want to deal with painting and waiting to dry and possibly having to put several more layers of paint on. And I already had the paper, so I just chose to use that. And I am using old Mod Podge that did not want to come out of the tube for me. But in this house, we try not to waste, so I was determined to use it anyways. I started filming this project about a half hour before the kids got home from school, and I was really pushing it on time. I think I had just finished cleaning up when they walked through the door, so if you notice me rushing any of this, that is why. And I know I was rushing because the cut lines from when I was cutting the cardboard into strips were quite jagged, especially when I compared it to the other ones I had done. I use hot glue to adhere the cardboard strips to the plastic. The first one I did was actually done with tape, and it didn't turn out too bad, but the hot glue does turn out with a cleaner look. You will just place strips around the plastic jug until you have it covered to your liking. And to finish it up, I cut out a circle for the top center and then use a brown paper bag for the stem. The next project that I'm showing you is a ghost, and I just loved how these looked, and they actually aren't that difficult to put together. You're going to begin by blowing up a balloon. I got these balloons for $1. I think there's 15 in a pack of them. And then I went ahead and got a tablecloth. One tablecloth, the dollar ones that you find in the party section at Walmart, they will make 2 of the ghosts. So depending on how many ghosts you're going to want to make, you may have to get more or less of those tablecloths. That tablecloth I got was a rectangle one, so I cut it in half to make it a square, and then I fold one square into quarters. So I fold it in half and then I fold it in half again. And then that quartered tablecloth, I take the end that has all of the outside edges, so no folds. I take that end, I cut the one corner right off. Just make sure that both of those ends don't have a fold. And then you're going to want to cut a small hole in the middle. So this would be on the opposite corner, the one that does have the folds on both ends. Now I use twine to string the balloon up. I had some left over, so I went ahead and used that. You could use other things like fishing wire would be perfect for this project. And would you believe it, now that ghost is just about done, all we have to do is add the eyes. And these are just so cute. I love how easy they are and how cute they look. You could also get a black tablecloth and use that as well to make a black ghost. My next project I did is actually these brooms. They're witches' brooms that I made from sticks and twigs that I had found in the yard. I just hot glued the twigs to the bottom of the sticks and then twisted twine around it and hot glued that as well. And the sign, I do have access to a Cricut, which I used for that, but you could just use a piece of wood and paint the words on. And my last project is just that sign that I had made. It's actually made out of cardboard. I just cut out the back piece, and then I cut out the arrow pieces, and I painted the words onto that. I did paint those. The base is an orange, and then I painted a black layer and then a white and mixed those together. I hope you loved those projects just as much as I did. If you give any of them a try, let me know, and let me know your favorites. If you did like this video, you enjoyed it, or you found any kind of value out of it, then please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share it with your friends.